everybody, and welcome to Game 2 between Fantastic Five and Finem. I'm Llama Down Under, I'm joined by Scant. And after that first one, do you just abandon early push, Scant?
Um, I mean, not necessarily. You don't need to change your style, but you need to do better at.
Radiant team
Sometimes
pick.
teams want to do something totally different after they lose the first game of a series. Other times they just feel like, we need to adjust one thing here or there, go back and discuss what went wrong early on. If they weren't
Dire
going to shut down
team
the
pick.
Sven, Fantastic Five had to do better to dominate the other lanes, and the lanes were actually kind of even. At Finem this time give away
Radiant
the Earth
team
Spirit, so
pick.
both games going to have Earth Spirits, one per team.
Now,
And
I haven't seen as much of Fantastic Five's Earth Spirit, but obviously a lot, in the first 3, 4 minutes, a lot was left to be desired by Spartan's Earth Spirit.
yeah,
Radiant
well,
team
until he
ban.
got level 2, basically, he just missed every roll. And once he was level 2, he was involved in more sort of even plays, making kills for his team, making space. And I mean, later on in the game, he was just space creating a lot of the time. He would die, but his team would be
10
getting something
seconds
somewhere else,
remaining.
or and that's kind of an okay thing to do on Earth Spirit, especially when you are
Dire
playing that 5
team
position
ban.
Earth Spirit.
Yeah, I think
It's
it's hard because you do have to get a lot of work done, as you said, and it seemed to work out for them even though he
10
didn't have
seconds
the
remaining.
hugest impact. I'd actually say that they created a bit of a disaster in
5
that bottom
seconds
lane
remaining.
in favor of Fantastic Five. But
yeah. At Fulham just seems to have a better
Reserve
handle
time.
on like the resource-based game, and that's kind of how they win the last game. They banned this Finn out themselves this game, which is quite
Radiant
interesting.
team
But
ban.
I I almost feel like you mentioned at some point in the previous game that it's impressive that the team against the jungler had higher net worth early on. I don't think that'll happen this game. I think Adfinum, even if their Chan's involved, he'll also be farming, and we definitely saw Yol's
10
Chan last
seconds
game
remaining.
was really not farming much at all. He was mostly just, I mean, he got the
5
gold from the
seconds
successful
remaining.
rotations and the pushing, but it didn't seem like a priority at all. It seemed like one smoke to the
Reserve time.
next, wrapping around towers, very deep behind, just super aggressive play. And I think that Adfinum or maybe a team that's a bit more directly conscious of the resource-based game and the fact that if we have a Chen, they don't have any jungler. There's sort of a passive advantage that accrues over time for us as well.
I'm a little. It could also have been bad luck on the Chen's part. Sometimes you don't get the most efficient creep camps for making a lot of money as well. You know, that's you talked about it in the first drop, but Chen can be super luck based. Similarly with the Enigma, sometimes you just don't get camps that let you get that really early level 6. Um, But I agree with you. It did feel a little odd that the team with the jungler were not ahead. Now we have a Sven ban out. Team Adfinem going to get rid of that. They know how powerful it is. And something else I want to touch on is both games we've had the IO ban out. Pretty sure that's because not pretty sure that's because Adfinem do love running the
Dire
IO when they
team
can.
ban.
It's just something I haven't seen them get to do very often since it's often banned out against them.
Yeah, Fantastic Five banned it out in the first phase against them. The last time they played as well in both those games. I mean, they lost both those games, but I don't think the
10
answer to
seconds
to
remaining.
losing against the team is like, okay, fine, we'll give them their best hero.
Five
Here you have a
seconds
70% win
remaining.
rate with this hero. Take it.
Yeah, so it is the Void for Fantastic
Radiant
Five. This
team
is
pick.
like basically the most old school DP friend in Dota 2. Like ever since DP's been a competitive pick in Dota 2, people have been picking Void with it. It's really nice to combine the damage output of the DP with the Chronosphere. Just really nice synergies. Even just the Void's like slow plus the DP slow, they combine and actually there's some relevant slowing going on. And that's a newer synergy
10
because neither of them
seconds
used to have
remaining.
those skills.
5
I
seconds remaining.
Now, I'm not saying that DP is bad or anything, but do you think that could be part of the problem?
Reserve
Fantastic
time.
Five not having a mid laner for Biz who can be more mobile, less because DP she's difficult to gank with. Yes, you rotate and you get towers, but compared to the Quap who was able to come in a lot earlier, rotate over, get kills.
I mean, DP is an incredibly strong hero. The for me the one of the main weaknesses of the hero is just that it like peaks a bit earlier than some of the other 1 or 2 position heroes. And if the game's not going that well for your
Dire
team at that
team
stage in the
pick.
game, then the enemy team gets past your timing and suddenly the DP is not as impressive anymore. But as in terms of laning against OD, it's probably your best bet. I actually think that DPs quite often win this lane against ODs. It depends on how they play it. So if they both farm, they both farm. But sometimes you see the OD trying to harass the DP like ODs do against most other heroes in mid, and DPs usually actually win that trade. If the OD runs up and starts orbing and the DP just
10
uses Spirit
seconds
Siphon, it's
remaining.
actually quite a good trade for the DP. So I don't know.
5
I think
seconds
the pick is
remaining.
okay. It does kind of push them into a similar position they were in last game though, especially with
Reserve
the enemy
time.
team having banned out the Sven, and they've got the Void. Like I do feel like we're again getting to a point where, and this time it's interesting because Finem have picked the Chen themselves, but I still feel like there might be pressure on Fantastic Five this game in the early game.
Okay, we're going with the Wyvern counter to the Chen. This is I mean, this is something we've seen before. It also may actually be a good way to turn the OD's power against Advenom as well, but Wyvern's not easy to make work right now, I think.
I saw Ivan picked up a lot. I cast the grand finals of the American
Mhm.
Epicenter qualifier where
10
Complexity beat
seconds
Shazam
remaining.
3-2. It was
Yeah.
very close, and Shazam picked Wyvern, I think, in 3 of the 5 games,
5 seconds
and they
remaining.
did really, really well with it. I think this hero might be due a comeback. One of the things that we've seen with it, as far back
Reserve
as the
time.
previous Star Ladder, was EG drafted Wyvern and Void together, just to use Winter's Curse to set up for a nice Chronosphere, even if you're not dealing that much damage in the Curse. But as you said, it's also Splinter Blast is really nice against Chen creeps when they're pushing, and obviously the ulti as well. When you have that many creeps and all those auras, just dump the ulti and someone can get blown up. I think the hero is due a bit of a comeback, and I actually
10
kind of like seeing
seconds
it a bit more
remaining.
these days. And Spirit Breaker is a super
Dire
interesting
team
response
back.
to Wyvern because it's one of the worst heroes at dealing with Wyvern's Cold Embrace. Like if you notice someone's being charged, well, Wyvern TP's in and Cold Embraces them, and Spirit Breaker might as well go home. That's end of that.
Yeah, it's a really
10 seconds
it's an
remaining.
interesting pickup here, and I'm not sure if it's trying to be a way to
5
respond to
seconds
Earth
remaining.
Spirit or something. It's also going to be their offlaner for sure. He's not, unless they
Reserve
run
time.
duels, which of course I don't think you can with the Chen. I'm just not sure. Do you try to send the Spirit Breaker to be versus the Faceless Void to have an easier time?
I don't know actually. I feel like this is just an offlane Spirit Breaker straight up, and it's an alright pick
Radiant
here. It
team
just
back.
doesn't. I don't know. It's such a specific pick that I feel like you're probably right. It's probably like a response to Earth Spirits, or they want the Spirit Breaker to charge into the Earth Spirit whenever he's the one committing to a gank, something like that. But
Dire
Spirit Breaker is
team
used
pick.
against Bounty Hunter in a similar way quite a lot. People like to pick offlane Spirit Breaker against a roaming Bounty and then just punish him for his going so deep.
Yeah, I think we'll see how it ends up working out for them. Very different draft coming out for Advenom. And it's certainly the Spirit Breaker, at least. OD wants people disabled or people confused so that he can continue to get Arcane Orb stacks up. Spirit Breaker
10
charging through
seconds
the enemy
remaining.
line certainly, stuns people for a moment so you can smack away at
5
them more as an
seconds
OD. So
remaining.
there's that synergy. For Fantastic Five, looking for a hard carry to tie their
Reserve
draft
time.
together. I obviously think you want something that can pound into the Faceless Void, and Clinks hasn't been banned. So pound into the Chronosphere.
Yeah. Clinks is decent. Juggernaut's also decent. You can Omni Slash into the Chronosphere. What we're looking for in the previous game. Um, not too sure. Clinks is actually quite a nice pick here. You can also feed on the Chen creeps. There's a concern about being charged, and then Spirit Breaker just picks up dust, and you get tracked in a fight. But I actually quite like it. So I think it's maybe one of the better picks here.
Yeah, I actually realized we didn't say that, but it could have been the Spirit Breaker was in case Fantastic Five went for something like the Clinks to do good work with the Faceless Void or the Weaver. We've sometimes seen those two paired up as well because there are a couple teams who've realized how powerful the Swarm is, and you can ensure that you get it on people in the Chronosphere. Then you have the extra minus armor for both the Exorcism and, of course, Weaver's auto attacks. It's gonna be a Doom, a hard
Radiant team
farming
pick.
Doom, or do you run
Yeah.
the hard farming Faceless Void here?
No, I think it'll be a safe lane farming Doom for Host, and it's a hero that he used to play actually quite a bit back in earlier RV days, and I think it's actually quite good. Yeah, it's an absolute hard counter to OD. OD does nothing while Doom. The same way that when usually when people buy BKBs against OD, just turns off the hero. And Wow, Adfinem actually go back to the Drow Ranger. So this suddenly reveals what they're doing with their strategy. They're the ones who are going to group and push very early, and I know this is a hero that Madara plays a lot himself. He's very comfortable on it. So the whole dynamic of the game gets flipped in the last pick for both teams actually, because suddenly we see the Doom and we're like, well, what are you gonna do about your OD getting doomed? And the response is very loud and clear. We're gonna pick a Drow Ranger. We're gonna kill all your towers before your heroes even have items. You know, you can have your safe lane Doom, but our plan is to kill all your tier ones before your Doom even has a blink dagger.
And normally I would be concerned, I'd be saying something like, well, drow lineups, they don't peak. Oh, sorry, drow lineups do peak a lot earlier than other hard carries, but Fantastic Five's running a Doom. All bets are off. Also, Advenum run the drow strat a bunch. It's something they've used. They actually used it the last BTS series to demolish a number of teams. Just the, yes, let's make sure that the game is over 13 minutes in. Enjoy your lack of racks. And, oh, shucks, that was not at all the holy Hannah. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Apparently, you can have weird hotkeys bound if you're. Oh, 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, Scant. Gonna have to bust up the fun conversations. Let's get all the Dota talk out of the way for starters.
Okay.
Whose lineup are you tending towards right at the start?
Uh, Probably Adfinim's lineup. I I don't know. I have a soft spot for draw lineups, especially when the teams piloting them are teams that have a good understanding of how to play them. And I think a draw lineup, particularly one with a Chen in it, is quite difficult. Like, usually the way teams deal with draw lineups is they find a way to jump onto the draw and take her out. But you've got the defensive Astral, you've got the Chen to heal. Spirit Breaker is going to be in your face in the front line, and actually just the Chen creeps. Just the fact that you group up and push with the draw aura, but there's Chen creeps in the front lines that you have to get past, and that requires, Void could probably time walk forward, get a chronosphere off, and then what kind of thing. Earthspirit can jump forward, and then it's the Doom that has to get onto the backlines. And I think, in that sense, Doom is maybe the right hero to have one position for Hovost, but I just think that he needs to get quite a lot of farm quite quickly because the pressure is going to be on them extraordinarily early.
And what exactly is the Doom Faceless Void synergy here? How are we just standing around scorch earthing them? Are we hoping that Ghost Stick is a god and manages to get 3 on the edge?
No, it's not. I mean, look, Earth Spirits and DP can. All of the other heroes can throw damage into the Void. I don't think the Doom is supposed to have any synergy with the Void, except that what they could be saying is that one of us is going to ulti one carry and the other one will ulti the other one. It's you're dealing with the offlane Spirit Breaker. It's not really a threat. So it's the OD and the Drow that you have to deal with to win fights. And if you doom the OD and just Chronosphere the Drow, everyone else throws everything they can into the Chronosphere. That's definitely an approach that, as the game goes later, is going to win them fights. And I do think, I mean, it is interesting. You said like they have a Doom in one and a DP in two, but I still do kind of think that Fantastic Five is the lineup that gets stronger as the game goes later, unless they're immensely behind in gold. Because as the game goes later, it really does become a lot easier for them to do exactly what I just said. Just expend one ulti on each of the carries, and probably they win a fight from that position.
Yeah, so we'll end up seeing how that's going. Now, we've probably got another 2 whole minutes here. This means it's time to look at effigies, folks. I have no idea what this Legion Commander effigy is saying. So, oh, all of their effigies are. I mean, it makes. Oh, not this one. This one just says help.
Well, Araman is not Russian, he's German, so he's like, what
Well,
am I doing
he
in
could
this
just
team?
write it in German. I know. I actually wonder. Obviously, if you've got, because it's 4 Russians and a German, right? Or 4 people who probably speak Russian.
For Russian-speaking
Yeah,
players, yeah.
and then a German. Do you end up being like, nah, you have to speak English? Does the German just be like, well, learning Russian now?
I they probably just speak English. I think a lot of teams do, to be honest. I think you'll find more and more teams in CIS and even in Southeast Asia, as far as I know, speak English even when they have another preferred language. I remember speaking to Fnatic at the major and finding out that most of the time they're actually speaking English, despite the fact that most of their players speak Chinese and prefer it. Although now they have DJ, who I think doesn't. It makes make more sense. But um, Armin actually, when the last time I watched this team was like the star of the show. There was a game where he played Lina, and there was another one where he played Lion. The game where he played Lion, he had like an 8 minute blink dagger as he got level 6 and got a Dagon and just like had some fun. It's really interesting for me to see him because this is a player who's been around forever. He's been standing in multiple teams, occasionally mixing up in his own teams, but nothing that's really truly stuck. And Fantastic Five, as you say, have been on a good run of results, aside from their matches
I mean,
against Adfinem.
I think it's also just a case of a lot of people may be underestimating Adfinem because they haven't heard of them. I actually have no idea what the betting odds or anything were on for this. You probably might know, but I have no idea what way people expected this one to go. But a lot of people forgetting that Adfinem is, they've been together for a while now. When I started casting 7-8 months ago, doing like Join Dota League stuff, that's where they were. They were in Tier 2 Join Dota League stuff, and they've stayed together this whole time. So
Yeah, I think they had one or two player changes from Llama
yeah.
Conspiracy to Adfinem, but it's not a big deal, and they very much they're a team that has like a skeleton that's been long lasting. They understand each other. They know each other well. They're friends. I think most of them are friends in real life. It's my understanding.
Oh, that'll happen. We have a really deep smoke. This is a lot deeper. They are blocking Chen camps. I like that play. Oh yeah, guys, look at this. Look at this action. We're gonna be able to see that they have realized on Adfinem that there is a motor train coming into the jungle. But other than that, I don't think we'll see too much action here. Y'all not gonna dive for it. And meanwhile, 2 camps blocked for the Chen, so trying to make sure that he doesn't get any great creeps.
This observer ward blocking the big camp is a very creative one.
Oh,
This is
it's
like a
also
ward
right on the edge. Like, it's really well
Yeah.
done.
It's a ward that I've actually never seen anyone place before. I feel like since we got those boxes.
Oh, we have a roll in onto Madara. He's going to be taking a lot of damage here. One more auto attack brings him down. Can they find... They're going to get maybe next time as well. He's going for the Roche tonight, but 2 slowed up by the Wyvern. And that's going to be 2 easy kills. Fantastic Five off to a fantastic start.
Yeah. So very bad start for the draw strategy. You really don't want to get behind in that lineup because it's the timings of the draw strategy are in some ways like the earliest of any strategy there is. You really just want your draw to get level 6 and then immediately go for all the tier 1 towers.
Yeah, especially with a
so
Chen backing you up.
Yeah. Yol's gonna put a high ground ward in the mid lane as well. And looks like he's considering going in for a jump.
Okay, the roll doesn't quite hit. It's really difficult to gank an OD anyway, right? That Astral Imprisonment is going to buy you enough time to ensure a TP every time.
Yeah, so Spartan did find the sentry ward at his close camp, but he had to place his own sentry ward inside the camp in order to do that. Oh wait, this is actually one again. This is another one of those just out of the box ones.
Yeah.
Which,
I
again,
turned boxes on for casting. Well, I guess now
okay,
for
so you
playing
can
as well.
actually see them all.
I'm the audience knows Scant.
Okay,
They've seen it all.
good. You're on top of this. I mean, it's definitely had an effect on the game, right? And it's the fact that they made that change.
Okay, we have the Spirit Siphon Thug going to Astral up DP so that she can't get too much closer. He does not have any points in Arcane Orb, so those auto attacks not really gonna hurt y'all. I'm actually pretty surprised he went the casual Essence Aura point before picking up an Arcane Orb one.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't make a huge difference one way or another. I don't think anyone's gonna die there.
Meanwhile, up on top lane, Skylark going to get stunned. Oh, hit up here. He's slowed, but he'll walk away. I was just going to say he's getting away with Moda on this top lane. Already level 3. I did not expect Spirit Breaker to have such an easy time.
Yeah, well, the Earth Spirit's been in mid the entire time, and the thing with the Winter Wyvern is that it harasses you really nicely whenever it has Arctic Burn, but in between Arctic Burns, it's almost like a non-factor. You just completely ignore the hero, do whatever you want.
Now, this should get Spirit Breaker level 4 on him. What timing is the rotation? Oh, we have a completely missed roll. I think if that hit, they maybe could get the kill on Thug. Hard to say with Astral, but both games, this Earth Spirit having a lot of trouble.
Yeah, level 1 Earth Spirit ganks are just a lot more difficult than level 2 Earth Spirit ganks, but speaking of which, Yol is level 2 now, and it's something that needs to be paid attention to if you're on the side of Adfinem.
Yeah, they'll have it eyes and ears open for that type of business. So maybe next time, just casually pulling. Ghostic also getting a good amount of experience, but he is a faceless void. You're expected to be difficult to get out of lane. Meanwhile, are we Skylark just hanging out? Level 4. I'm not sure what he's... Oh, he's going for the charge on in. Going on Death Prophet. They're not going to be able to make that work. So things
And
will go
again,
back
it's
to
just
normal.
Tower is under
the
attack.
Chen hasn't felt any pressure to do much of anything at all this game. He unblocked his camps and then he's just been farming since. This is what I was talking about during the draft. It's you can't take that risk in a draft
Oh,
strategy.
Thug, there is the roll. It finally hits. The Astral's under someone else. 4 stops away, eats his fairy fire. Now proceeding to pound into Yol. There's the stun. One more auto attack. That's our first blood. Can they find Biz as well? He doesn't have any spirit siphons at the ready. So now he's taking a lot of damage. And Chen even coming in with the Hadoken for the last hit. He's gonna fall.
Did he smash him? Looked like he smashed him
Smash him.
away.
Oh, on... He...
I mean, it only does. You said force, but obviously he doesn't have a force stuff, right?
Yes,
It's
so
like,
it must have been the smash away.
yeah, it just seems like a. I guess to get the
Radiant's
damage,
top
but it just seems
tower
like a
is
very
under
strange tactic for a gank. Like,
Dire's
you
middle
get out of
tower
here.
is under attack.
But yeah, that's Finem 2 kills back on the board and looking good for them. Didn't want to be behind. What the point I was trying to make before, Chen's been kind of the farm leader early on in the game, and it's really like their lanes are good enough that Finem don't feel the pressure for the Chen to have to try and gank over and over. And it's much more important if he gets his early levels in farm that once Jar's level 6, they have all their tools ready to stop pushing.
Astral imprisonment happening up in mid. Gonna allow Lion to get close enough. The Hex comes out. The charge from downtown. And that will be another quick pickoff on the Death Prophet. They are getting these like mad. There's going to be a rock kick away on the Chen as well, who's coming in. Maybe just going to push this mid tower. Oh, maybe heading over to the jungle. Just the deep behind the tower ward.
Yeah, that's a very nice ward to have, and actually just hanging around. I mean, this is... if DP comes back in mid and dies again, this is a absolute nightmare at that point for BZZ.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think she is waiting so long to walk back out. The Earth Spirit 100% saw the Chen wrapping around, and DP has to know, I need backup if I'm going to head out. So...
Yeah, she couldn't TP anyway, right? Because she just TP'd back and died.
Life not easy for this DP. Speaking of other lanes though, Drow, of course, she's farming up a storm, but not quite where the Doom is. Sitting pretty, having Devour and so on. So Havost actually getting a lot of good space on this top lane.
Okay, well, the Tornado comes out, and that's going to give away that Chen's still around.
Yeah, or at least that he has a Wild Wing Ripper there.
Radiant's top tower is
So
under
I am
attack.
just... Let's do that. I'm just fiddling with the Dota 2 sounds, folks. After the patch, they're all over the place, so let me know if they're
Radiant's top tower is
weird,
under attack.
and I'll try to adjust in between games. That ends up being kind of nothing. We have 3 heroes facing each other in mid, while both carries able to just kind of sit back and farm.
It's a win for Finem, I think, because having the 2 supports in the mid lane meant the Spirit Breaker could just sit
Radiant's middle tower is
casually,
under attack.
get towards that level 6.
While Ghost Stick coming up again, trying to contest the pull. He has hit level 5, almost level 6.
Radiant's
So
bottom
he will
tower
have
is
that
under
ult
attack.
at the ready. Do you try to give it a go onto Thug as your priority if you are this Faceless Void, or do you ask the DP to rotate down and deal with the Drow?
I don't know if they're ready to make kills inside the Chronosphere just yet anyway, to be honest. I'm not sure. This is, like, they need way more levels on all of their heroes for the Chronosphere to be effective. And speaking of levels, the draw range has now gotten level 6, so I think it's going to be an attempt on the tier 1 tower bot pretty
Okay,
soon.
we have the Hex coming out onto Ghostic. Rock kick on through. Chen coming from behind the tower. Ghostic still only level 5. He won't be able to drop that ult, but Yol getting very low. One more auto attack will do the trick. Havos coming in, has the Doom at the ready. Let's see who he decides to use it on. Madara being sent home to safety, so he should be fine. Oh no, he's getting very low. He falls before he's able to leave, and the charge cancelled by Skylark. Hadoken comes on through, but there's the Chronosphere. Got it from gaining the level. I'm really surprised the charge didn't come through. Thug now going in there. He's going to Astral Imprison 1. He's hoping to pound away at Death Prophet, but there it is, the Doom. He needs to auto-attack. One more of them will do the trick, but he's unable to. Stunned up by Havos, brought down. Havos now being charged here by Skylark. Biz still very low, but the Exorcism almost picks up maybe next time. He will fall. So all in all, a 3 for 3. Is that what I saw there? 3 for 2.
Yeah, I think it's quite a big win for Fantastic 5 actually. And it's the first sort of
Radiant's
rotation
top
from a
tower
boss
is under
Doombringer.
attack.
And I think it's very important that they used it this way. Just like, recognize that at the stage in the game where Finem want to make their first play to start pushing, your Doombringer's got level 4
Radiant's
Scorched
top
Earth, and they're not
tower
actually
is
ready to
under
deal with that
attack.
just yet. Maybe if the whole team could focus him to start with, but he comes into the fight once things have already started, and it's just... it's an absolute nightmare scene for Finem, because they know they can't deal with that Doom, they need to run away, but you're not escaping him either.
So really nice rotation there from Fantastic Five. And making Ghost Stick a good amount of progress on that Vlad. Now, for this type of pushing lineup with the OD, sometimes we've been seeing a lot of ODs just for the great stats, and if your team has a bit of magic going the Veil. Not so sure it works here, since you don't have someone like a Gyro, or do you just try it for the cheap stats anyway?
I mean, it's definitely nice for the cheap stats, but I don't think they have another hero who obviously goes Drum, so
Oh, did the curry
Drum's
go
also
down?
a great early stat.
Oh, yep, and it dies. Okay, wasn't sure that auto attack was enough, but it did it. And Skylark, he's now trapped in a bit of a bad position. TP rotation's coming out. He's just trying to run away from Habos. He charges on out. Will he be fine? He will. Gets to the creep wave, and Madara's here now. This is the push. Okay, they go with the ult onto Habos. Scorched Earth is done,
not the play.
but they're not going to catch him.
There was some definite hesitation there where Drow was saying, let's go, and then Spirit Breaker's like, I'm going, and then Drow says, actually, no, we can't go, but Spirit Breaker's gone anyway. Unfortunate, but I don't think that Fantastic Five are in position to defend against this push anyway, simply because the Doombringer doesn't have Scorched Earth ready.
And this is
So
fantastic.
they're going to try and trade.
Ghost Stick not going to push nearly as fast as Finem, so Finem may be able to push and defend, although their push actually kind of taken a while. You gotta hit the tower, Madara, with all of your extra damage. Will they be able to rotate down and save this tower from Ghost Stick? It's a super crucial tower for the Radiant. They're just gonna let it go.
Yeah, I don't think they have. It's not the lineup. It's not the right lineup for like TPing in one at a time to try to defend, especially with the Chronosphere up. They probably want to defend mid or go for the tier 2 trade top. They definitely don't want to just give up their mid tower here.
Yeah, they'd probably actually let it fall so that they could get the free glyph. You know, if you TP down, but then you don't have the glyph from mid. Charge going to be coming out onto the Death Prophet. Doom is here at the ready. Skylark lands the charge. Havos still hasn't dropped the Doom. He just drops that attack, and he's taking a bit of damage. Here it comes. Where's the Chronosphere going to be dropped? Instead, it's just the time dilation. Chronosphere, does it actually hit on no one? No, it does manage to catch out Thug there. He's also doomed up. That hero is a goner. While on the back lines, they are trying to pick off Yol, taking a lot of damage here. He will fall. Unable to catch Skylark, but that is another fantastic trade for the Dire.
Yeah, and it's
okay, a really nice Winter's Coast. Maybe next time we'll just be brought down by Madara.
And by the way, the Wyvern pick was before the Drow pick, which the reason that hero dies so quickly there is because Drow aura, because everyone has just so much right kick damage, and they had to know they were picking Drow into Wyvern, which is going to make it all that more likely that Wyvern ulti can just solo kill people in this game. And all in all, it's really nice approach to the game so far by Fantastic Five, recognizing that you don't want to give the Drow strategy that momentum, you don't want to let them get started and pushing. And Fantastic Five are trying to be one step ahead, just being aggressive themselves all the time, and if they keep it up, it's going to be difficult for the Drow plan.
Yeah, this is a much better game for Fantastic Five. They are doing worlds ahead of what we saw in the first game. So, in middle, there's some more posturing. They really want to keep this tower for the Dire in mid. Charge, gonna land onto Yol. Whether the rest of the team can get over, the tower has been destroyed. Rock kick on through the spot and will be unable to get in range. It actually pops the Hand of God, wanting to make sure his team is very healthy for this next push. Are they just headed down bottom, or is it Roche? It's looking like it may be Roche. Eye on the prize. This is a little risky against... I mean, I know Chronosphere is down, but...
They know there's no Chrono and no Wyvern ulti, that's why they're doing this. They can also see the Doom at top lane, so I think the risk is actually quite low. I would want to... Yeah, Odie needs to go back in and finish this off though. This is actually, I think this is a really, really good decision. Like, expert decision from Finem, and if they don't go for the rush, I honestly think they're in danger of losing the next fight and losing all their momentum altogether.
Really a nice pickup for them. They are falling a little bit behind. Fantastic Five about 3,000 gold ahead, a little under 2,000 experience, and Havos doing a fantastic job of... I gotta stop saying fantastic, now I'm jinxing it. It's because they're doing a great job of pushing that top tower down while the space is there due to the Roche attempt.
Yeah, it's a classic trade-off. Usually it's the other way around.
Normally it's tier 2 as well. Like, tier 1 for Roche is obviously not in favor of the team getting the tier 1. But when it's a tier 2, it's, as you said, normally it is this tier 2 that Radiant takes, and Dia gets Roche.
And I gotta say, her boast is going for a Sanj on Doom.
I told you he loves Sanj and Yasha! Okay, Thug, you
That's-
are way out of position. Here comes the Doom. He has TP support, but he may be dead before they manage to get in. Crypt Swarm goes on through, and goodbye to Thug. He'll get brought down. There is going to be a very dead Earth Spirit as well. Can Drow Ranger catch up? Doom, he manages to get that buff to his movement speed. Charge coming out. Madara still chasing. They do have the Ether Shock. Not Ether Shock. Nether Strike. Thank you, Brain. There we go. It's going to land onto her Vost. Oh, the ult is stopped. A really nice play there by DP, and suddenly with the Exorcism, they need to back on up at Fantastic Five. They're just trying to burst down the Exorciser, and she will go. Now we're giving it a go onto her Vost again. Madara, way too close. That ult, it doesn't hit anybody. The Chronosphere, it is not the one they were looking for, and the time dilation. Drow doesn't care about that. They're going to lose one. Ghostic, he's X'd up. He can't use that time walk, but the Wyvern ult going to kill off Skylight. Going to save the day. And somehow that is salvaged for them. Madara is still in a lot of trouble because of the baby Dooms, and she will fall on that Drow. So at least the Aegis expended there, and now on the sidelines, Spartan is there. Madara is still having to deal with the Doomlings. While
That Wyvern ulti doing so much work. Although I gotta say, even before that...
Oh, okay, they will get Ghostic.
Madara.
Sanity's Eclipse dropped for that. Thug not checking that there was no mana left on that Faceless Void.
Do you see the timing on the Gust in that fight? Like, as the Void time walked in, was about to chrono everyone, DP was still alive, and the Gust hits all three of them. It was just like an absolutely perfect Gust from the Drow. I think that they would have lost the fight to begin with even before the Wyvern
Okay,
arrived.
Thug, he is dodging like a champ, gonna turn around, is silenced up here, but should have that Arcane Orb right up about now, and a couple more attacks, but they're not able to seal the deal onto Yol, and now the stun comes on through, Skylark getting very low, he will go down to the burn. And another kill racked up for her Vost.
By the way, I just noticed Lion has a Blink Dagger. This is one of those incredible things in a game that has a lot of early kills you've been nearby. You're not particularly feeding and your team's killed quite a lot of towers. You've killed Rush. Suddenly your Lion has a Blink Dagger. This is not usually a timing you'd have on a support line, especially in a game where you're a little bit behind. But I think that's going to be an important tool for them.
They're also sacking the Chen. It depends on the lineup, but a lot of times we see folks make the Chen be the mech builder or rush the Ags, right? Especially in these early push lineups. But they definitely made the Chen buy a couple wards here and there so that Lion could get this early blink.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, what draw strategies always have is they have like huge damage burst. That's what we've seen. The Wyvern ulti always turns into them killing one of their allies. But they don't always have the control. It's also part of why they pick the Spirit Breaker, the offlaner. Between Spirit Breaker and Lion with the Blink Dagger on Lion, whenever someone's out of position, they're going to be able to make a kill, almost certainly, because they've got the control factor from just the Lion or the Spirit Breaker, and the damage output is definitely there.
So her Vost is going the Sanjin Yasha. I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe he turns it into a Heaven's Halberd or something, because then you just doom someone else and you can Heaven Halberd's the OD, since only BKB goes through that, and you know, also evasion, really good, but it's just gonna be her Vost Sanjin Yasha things. This gank attempt, Lion going to blink away a stun from the Chen creeps, and then the Purge slowing them down. Time lock, can he find it? Yes, he does. Goodbye to the Chen.
And it is starting to feel a bit like the previous game in the reversal, because I do feel like Finem are hitting that timing window where they want to be able to make use of their draw and just push lots of towers, and the moment they're not having that opportunity, in fact their OD might get caught here by the Doom.
Yeah, there is a Doom with your name on it. OD going for the TP away. This one's easy to get. Astral. Oh no, the Winter's Curse comes out from RM, and he is doing so much work this game. And Thug, there's a charge coming out, but he's gonna burn down to this Doom and the auto attack. And now Death Prophet just making sure to seal the deal. Skylark getting thrown up in the air by that Yules. He will fall as well.
It's looking very bleak for Finem, honestly. It's OD did finish Rod of Atos.
Oh, and we have a solo Chronosphere on to maybe next time. Might as well. This guy's rich. He's gonna throw out the Hex. He's actually has an opportunity to blink there. Maybe he throws out the finger and the stun onto Yol, who'll fall. Ghostic now in a bad spot. Gonna manage to time walk it off. Goes for the TP, and they can't see him there, so he'll be just fine.
I think
Nice.
the Earthspread missed his Magnetize there. That's what it looked like. They were trying to kill with Magnetize plus Chronosphere. It didn't look like the Magnetize hit at all. And there's that S&Y, S&Y Doombringer. This is
So
not,
is her both.
certainly not a common build.
Okay, you're like, what is he doing? But he does this on every hero. It's also, you know, the thing with Sven right now, where it used to be Sven would go Helm of the Dominator into the early blink, and right now it's like Sanjin Yasha is way more popular.
Yeah.
I think her Vost also is what's caused that. So, He just
I mean,
loves his Sanjin Yacho.
there was a stage where SNY is kind of like the default item on every single carry, whether agility or strength, and the thing is, Doom would just never fit into that category because Doom is considered to be a utility hero. Like the most important thing is that you get into a position where you can initiate with your Doom. You need a Shadow Blade or a Blink to do that, and sure he runs extremely fast, but they're always going to be able to see him running at them, and they've got control factors to deal with him. It's also not Doom is not conventionally considered to be a right-clicking hero. It has a pretty bad base attack time, really bad agility gain. You can like build it that way, but I mean, look, I'm not hating on it most here. I think that the way the game is going, this build actually makes sense. So SNY is a very cost-efficient item. It's just like
Oh, we have the jump forwards. The Hex coming out of maybe next time. He's silenced up though, and y'all. It looks like both teams wanting to cleanly disengage here. This mid tower though is very low, and yeah, Madara will finally finish it off. So at the very least, Adfinum's early push lineup doing a lot better than Fantastic Fives did last game.
Yeah, they're making some progress. They're hitting some timings, and they're gonna want to still get this tier 1 bot and maybe get another rush after that if they can. And it is the one big weakness of Fantastic Five is that their draft is very dependent on ultis. Like all of their heroes function. All of the heroes do very little outside of their ultis. Like there was a stage where the Doom was all about Scorched Earth, but even that phase is probably past. So if Finem just recognize these windows where, hey, the enemy team's used a bunch of their ultis, they're cooling down, those are the times they can get objectives for sure.
Skylark with the luckiest charge of all time spots the Havost rotation, and everybody on Adfinem will just TP away to safety. So not gonna find anything there. For Havost, next item coming up. I already mentioned how something to stop OD from constantly pounding into them may help, but you also need to deal with the Drow, and really everybody on Adfinem buffed up by her. How do you itemize here?
Havost is gonna buy BKB, I think, and just run at them even more. They can't. Oh yeah, I was talking about Doom counters OD, but BKB also just hard counters OD. It does nothing against heroes with BKB. You can just freely walk up to it. It's actually really interesting the interaction between a draw strategy and a big ulti strategy, because they're exact opposites if you think about it. The draw strategy functions completely independently of cooldowns. It's just about right clicks. And the Fantastic Five strategy is about the Chronosphere, it's about the Winter's Curse, it's about the Doom, it's about the Exorcism. Even to some extent, it's about the Magnetize. So there's this, in a way, it's almost a game of cat and mouse. If Adfinem could bait Fantastic Five to use ultis without losing any heroes, it's always going to be huge for them, because they're going to turn around and push 2 towers, tower and a rush, something like that. And right now the bot lane Exorcism being used for a push, but it's only the Exorcism, and that might not be enough to give a window to Adfinem right now.
I actually think Adfinem managed to bait that out. They did not need Exorcism to take this tower, but the illusion of the cow making, I think, Biz feel a little bit worried that the engagement was coming and just wanting to deter that. Meanwhile, smoke coming out of Adfinem. They have to be careful here. Winter's Curse at the ready, Doom, Chronosphere. All terrifying things to run into, but they're doing it. They're doing the wraparound play. I think they're hoping the smoke hits right as the Exorcism has worn out.
Yeah, they want to catch one hero at first. They really don't want to run into the whole team. They're expecting someone the team to be split up and farming their jungle. If they can find one person, pick them off, and then snowball into more, it'll be really good for them.
Okay, they're gonna see them on the edge here at the very least. They've seen Ghost Stick, and now they're running into them all. Maybe next time throws out the Hex. There's the charge. This could be a beautiful setup for a Chronosphere, though, if they're not careful. And Ghost Stick, he could toss the time dilation, finishing off maybe next time. Hand of God managed to keep him alive. Earth Spirit has been brought down as well, though, and the Lion falls. Madara, he is trying to poke away at people, but here it comes. That's the Doom onto him. Thug Astral imprisons him to save his life, but Winter's Curse comes out to spot and taking a lot of damage. And Ghost Stick, Chronosphere onto 3, and this should be the death of the rest of them. Skylark was on the outside, manages to charge on in, but I'm not sure how you get people away. Madara actually throws out a gust and is still trying to poke at people, but he has to be very careful here. Time dilation, meaning that he can't cost another one of those. R&M is going to take physical damage only, so that nice little cold embrace saving his life. And R&M, he's trying to run away from Ghost Stick and a Death Prophet, both incredibly fast heroes, and it's not looking good. He will fall. Oh,
So
wow,
it's
we
a pretty
still...
big win.
Okay, Chen creeps. You were saying.
I just want it's a pretty big win for Fantastic Five, and I feel a little bit bad for them because the wraparound play makes sense, and they're hoping to find people catch them out. But in the end, when they reveal their smoke, they see the void going down the stairs, and it's kind of like it felt like such an awkward angle. If Lion's gonna blink in and catch him, there's no way for them to initiate without exposing themselves, and that's exactly what they get punished for. Like At that point, they have to decide, you know, do we just waste our smoke gang completely, or we just take the risk and hope that they're not all standing right here? Because the Lion had to risk his own positioning, had to risk his own life in order to do anything, and they decide to take the risk, and they do get punished for it.
And it's almost perfect timing. That team fight finishes as the exorcism is just back up, so Death Prophet able to use it to help kill off Versh and pick herself up an Aegis.
Well, for Ad Finem draft strategy, it's, you know, they're not that far behind, and their damage output is still insane, such that if they ever are to win a fight where the enemy team uses their big ultis and they kill a few people, they're still going to be able to kill lots of towers. Like, it's still a strategy that can be explosive out of nowhere and suddenly be at your high ground. It's just at this point in time, Fantastic Five have shown that they clearly understand that, and it's difficult for me to see them dropping a fight. It's difficult for me to see them taking a fight when they don't have ultis, and they really just should be winning fights whenever they do have them.
And of course now they have a, you know, free extend the game another 5 minutes with that Aegis. Another thing to mention is that Fantastic Five have these amazing deep wards, right? They've got a lot of knowledge of exactly where Ad Finem are. They may even... Ad Finem's moving like they want to smoke, and I think they're going to smoke right under a ward.
The interesting thing here is that the last pick Doom was actually before the last pick drop, and you know, I had mentioned that maybe the draft pick would come together well to just get ahead of the Doom timing. But remember, Havos got involved really early. Level 7, level 4 scorched it, comes into a fight, and I feel like that set the pace for the whole game. It's been like that ever since. Like, Havos Doombringer, we talk about his build or whatever, but his involvement in the game and when he's come to fights and how he's led his team charging into the enemy team has absolutely been what's put them ahead.
They're gonna give it a go on to the Chen creeps. They'll find the Chen himself and Saspotin in a lot of trouble. There's the roll-in as well. He will fall. Oh, he's taking so long to die. Crypt Swarm, not quite enough to finish him off. So he finally does go down. Easy tower. And now Exorcism is gonna be up for this tier 2.
Yeah, I wonder if they even use it. If they don't have to use it, they might actually go high ground with the Exorcism.
Yeah, and unfortunately we do have some Chen creeps, but they're not really going to help stop this push very much. And as you talked about, Exorcism was not used here. They do have OD trying to poke at this bottom tower. We have a TP rotation coming out from Ghostic. He's maybe going to give them the jump in. It looks like some people have gone down in middle. They managed to pick up the Earth Spirit.
Earth Spirits. Same as last game, Earth Spirits just doing Earth Spirit things, you know, 5 position, getting picked off occasionally, not the end of the world.
I'm surprised in both of these games, the Earth Spirit and the Chen not having the easy time we've seen in earlier games this patch. Do you think that's just people learning how to deal with them?
Madara's in big trouble.
Yeah, Spirit Siphon exactly on top of him. There is a Doom with his name on it. They may not even need the Doom, they're just gonna beat him to death. This is just plain old murder, and Madara going to fall to that Crypt Swarm.
Yeah, just caught out in a position where he realized he couldn't TP, the DP was too close, and tried to run circles around them, but can only do that for so long. I think you're kind of right about Chen and Earth Spirit, by the way. I think that the later you go into the patch here has become like better understood in terms of how people want to deal with them. Also been, I don't know, in both these games the Earth Spirit hasn't needed to really do that much, and also in both these games the Chen's just had immense pressure on him, and in that sense, like, when your Earth Spirit doesn't need to do that much, just has to create space, it can look like maybe less impressive than the one.
Well, they're gonna try to give it a go onto RNM. He will be slowed down there by the Atos as well. They should be able to get this kill, and finally, Ad Finem finding something a little bit big, since there was a dominating streak on the Wyvern.
Yeah, it's certainly something for them. And they've got the blink on the OD now, with the blink on the Lion, with the Spirit Breaker charge, so that they have the tools to pick people off. And again, I just want to reiterate, it doesn't really matter that much that they're behind if they do get these key pickoffs. I mean, let's say DP's ulti's down and they pick off Doom. All of a sudden they just go high ground. That's something this draft strategy could do. But it requires Fantastic Five making mistakes. And we haven't actually seen them make a whole lot of mistakes this game. Like, the Wyvern gets caught there, but it's a Wyvern. We saw the Earth Spirit get caught before, it's an Earth Spirit. It's not going to be a big enough deal for them to pick off one of the supports. They're not even close enough. They're nowhere near close enough that they could group up and go for an objective when they kill supports.
We haven't touched on it too much. You said they're behind, but the exact numbers is a 7.5k gold deficit for Ad Finem and also 5,000 experience. That's a couple of team fights there, right? That is Fantastic Five have room to make a few mistakes.
Yep, they've got some room to make a mistake or two. It's just that draft strategy punishes you a bit harder than your everyday strategy when you do make a mistake or two, because it's not just the fights, you'll lose some objectives. You'll almost always lose a tower or two, maybe even a bit of your high ground. So they don't want to make those mistakes, but it's difficult for them to do so. Their ultis are all such huge impact, they've got the Aegis still. And it's an awkward position that Adfinem find themselves in as a result.
Additionally,
They...
what were you gonna say?
I just feel like Adfinem are basically have to wait around for Fantastic Five to make mistakes and play based on that, and until then just try and farm and avoid fights actually.
I think something that gets even scarier for Adfinem is, yeah, the Scepter is coming out to Faceless Void, right? Suddenly, this Chronosphere is going to be on a very short cooldown. Kills like the earlier one, where he just used it to try and catch out a solo Lion. That's completely viable with the shorter cooldown. So...
yeah, I mean, I spent half the game talking about how the contrast in this game is between the draft strategy, it depends on no cooldowns, and the other strategy depends on all their big ulti cooldowns. But if you make one of those ulti cooldowns shorter, it like obviously closes one of the gaps in their lineup, because that really is the only weakness in their lineup, that they don't look very strong when their ultis are all cooling down.
So here comes a traditional trade that we have in Dota 2, tier 2 for tier 2. They'll be pushing at about the same speed, but of course there's the Exorcism. Oh goodness, they managed to catch out RNM. If they can pick up the Wyvern, this would be huge. They need to kill him. They do. Chronosphere only going to land onto Spartan. They need a lot of damage. Actually, Madara was in there, but they were not focusing him at all. Spartan in a lot of trouble in that Astral, but can they kill off people before he goes down? Spartan's still alive. Ghostic jumps forward, gets the kill. The Exorcism is going around. Madara trying to hit, doomed up, just trying to smack away at people. Finger comes out on. They managed to pick off the DP, and now Havos BKB. Oh no, he's taking a lot of damage. Madara!
I can tell you what Twitch chat is going to be writing, and they're absolutely right, because of Havos through that fight. That's, I mean, sure, the Wyvern gets caught, but do you see, I think it's the first time he's used Blink this game, and he blinks into trees. He was stuck for the entire fight, and now we get what I was talking about earlier. All of a sudden, draft strategy wins one fight, and they're on your high ground, they're taking ramps.
And that was a huge swing of gold, almost 5,000. It's going to probably bring the gold graph back up to even with the racks going down, and they can push the mid. They don't have to stop at one lane of racks. They can easily get this tower, maybe more. Havos still off the...
Wyvern ulti might be big.
Okay, Skylark. Oh goodness, he is brought down and destroyed there. Now we have a rock kick onto Madara. Thug still pounding away. Ghostic gonna drop that Chronosphere again. Doesn't catch, maybe next time though. So he's unable to do as much damage as he would like. Ghostic though still should be able to pick off Thug here. Magnetize doing good work as well. And Madara, he may end up sacrificing his life as well. Oh, they do manage to get it. And he full stuffed out? Is he really? No. Ghostic's on the case. They've got this Madara fellow. They got him in their sights. Doom's even gonna eat the Alpha Wolf that they've kindly donated.
I almost feel like Adfinem made a decision there. They were at a certain point they were happy with their draw on OD to die. They just wanted to make sure they get a second lane of racks, or the melee racks anyway. It's really big. It's really big. The range racks are never gonna be difficult to kill. They've got two sides of racks, and I think that this is Adfinem recognizing that opportunities like this come, once in a game, in this kind of game. So they need to get the most out of it as well. Yeah, immediately Havos is back up, blinks forward, and this is gonna be probably a dead Lion.
Well, there's the stun, and maybe next time healed up. Can he sit? Yeah. It always earlier. Oh well, obviously cooldown stuff, but I mean, whenever that saves someone, it makes you a little bit frustrated when you're the team against a Chen. But they have the Exorcism up.
I mean, they don't even have all 5 heroes here, and this is just them saying, we've got our ultis up, like, how are we Raxes behind in this game? We want to push on. This is actually a sign of them tilting a little bit, and Fantastic Five needs to be careful, because they lose one more fight, all of a sudden they get megged in a game which was, completely in the bag for them.
Now, I don't... obviously, they're a bit behind, being 2 melee Raxes down. Oh, we have a charge coming out onto Biz. Ghostic is there at the ready. Manages to get, again, Madara in the Chronosphere. He's getting a little bit damaged by Thug here. It's a bit difficult there. So Spartan will fall maybe next time back inside the base. Winter's Curse on a Thug. Oh my goodness, look at Madara kill him. They will easily have the self-kill, the team kill. And with that, Fantastic Five, they can back on out or they can stay.
That's that's the dream, Winter's Curse. Like, the Drow Ranger killing the OD. Like, you control both the carries, one of them kills the other one. That's the worst possible thing for Adfinem. And this is what I wanted to say, the rack story, sure, the gold story, sure, whatever. The Fantastic Five are actually still way ahead in this game, in my opinion. It's still, they need to make another big mistake and then they'll probably lose the game out of nowhere. But it would be out of nowhere because if they're not making mistakes, I think they're still in a more comfortable position, despite the fact that they've lost 2 sides.
Charge coming out onto RNM. He will blink away, but this is just delay. Oh, they actually decide to play it safe. I think understandable. You can see the vision here for Finem. They have no idea where Fantastic Five are.
Most is sending himself an empty courier. Now it's going back to the shop.
Oh,
Okay.
apparently RNM is a Russian German, so he may just speak Russian with them.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
I don't know if it's true. I'm just being told these things. So.
It could be a joke, or I mean, maybe it is true. I don't know.
Also, I mean, if you love Dota enough, like we've seen it from other players, you learn the language that helps you win. Back focusing on this game, Age is going to be quickly picked up. Do you put it? Well, we'll see in a second. They put it on the Death Prophet again. How do you feel about that versus giving it to Havost, especially when he's such a player that loves to go hard?
I mean, they can't really kill him anyway. It's not like I can't stress this enough. The fight that they lost, where they lost 2 melee racks, is because of Host blinked into trees, and he had Scorched Earth, and he had BKB, and he had Doom, and eventually got to Doom someone across the trees, and eventually got to blink out, but he wasn't in the fight. Like, he's not. If he's, they can kill Host if like they can all stand and right click him with the draw damage, sure, but that's never a possibility. There's too many other things going on in the fight, and in a realistic fight, Host is just never gonna die. So I don't think he needs the Aegis.
Well, let's see. Finem posturing a little here, like they want to jump. I'm not sure that they can. Okay, we're gonna see them give it a go. Havost, there it is. The Hex comes out, silence, but maybe next time. Dropped his load. They managed to catch 2 on the edge of the Chronosphere. That Winter's Curse, though. Nobody's doing damage to Thug. He's gonna get doomed up through the BKB. Maybe next time taking a lot of damage, but Madara working on the backlines, unable to kill them off. Gets the Courier instead, through ignoring the Cold Embrace target. Now he's gonna work on RNM, finally brings him down. Skylark throws out the Hand of God, saves Skylark's life. There it is, the Nether Strike onto Biz, and suddenly Biz in a lot of trouble. Does have that Aegis, doesn't have Exorcism for 21 seconds. Ghost Stick getting damaged heavily by Madara. It's still a 1-for-1. Now Havost jumping right up in Madara's face. Suddenly Drown, not so scary as she once was. Still gonna probably murder Yol's face. Glimmer Cape coming out onto her, keeping her safe. But Madara, he's been seen again. Tries to force off away, but Crypt Swarm gonna bring him down. Ghostic, he's back in the fight. Has Chronosphere back up in 18. And if this fight wasn't already lost for Finem, that'll be the nail in the coffin. And they don't
really
see the
well
gem.
Like, all things considered,
I'm
a little bit shocked.
Never mind, they did see it.
I just feel like when you're against all these huge ultis which just destroy you, it's okay. DP didn't have an ulti in that fight, right?
No, she didn't. I believe it was coming off of cooldown.
Yeah, okay, so maybe that's why they go for the fights, and maybe that's why they get an opportunity to have such a close fight, because I just it's really a brave move from them to take a fight there at all. But it's what they have to do at this stage in the game. They got to take some risks, and if they were to kill Havost at the start with a pick off, I think at that stage he had just bought out into his plate mail. He's got a lot more gold now, but I think if they pick off the Doom, all of a sudden that's a push, and maybe get a 3rd melee Rax or finish off the 2 range Raxes. It's the kind of risk they need to take. I think they know, as I was saying before, that despite the fact that they're ahead in the Rax situation, they're still a bit behind. It's still very difficult for them to find these openings to make the pick offs of their team. And they sort of just hope every now and then they'll catch someone off alone. Like, they can definitely pick people off when they are alone. It's just Fantastic Five to give them those opportunities. And maybe this is where having those 2 melee Raxes helps. Like, there's some pressure coming out. You've got the draw aura, your lanes are pushing. There's Rax creeps, and occasionally there's actually reason for Fantastic Five to split up, and that gives you opportunity to pick them off.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that even having the 2 Rax down, though, we have a lead again going the way of Fantastic Five and experience very firmly on their side. It's just such a hard lineup to win at this late in the game against.
Harman being very sneaky. The entire enemy team is on their way to him. They don't know he's there, of course, but
are they going
to be discovered?
This may actually be fantastic by RNM. This posturing looks like they want to smoke. Yeah, and he's actually... No, they don't walk by him. In my opinion, it would have been fantastic if he broke the smoke there, even if he died, right? Since it's just the Wyvern, but...
Yeah, that's fine.
So...
there's a Lotus Orb on Spirit Breaker now, which could be, like, huge when it comes to Doom and Wyvern ulti. If the timing's right by Skylark, can definitely decide a fight.
And it's such a tense game right now, because I definitely... the mistakes that Fantastic Five, as you pointed out, can make, getting smaller because you lose another set of racks. There's going to be a charge onto Ghost if he, of course, does have Time Walk Away, or just the Chronosphere, but he gets hexed up. There's going to be a kick on through, and both of them silence. Glimmer Kick comes out, and Exorcism is now there. They need to back out, but no, Spartan, he will be caught out. There's the Doom onto Thug. Finem, they have lost this team fight handily, and it's just a matter of how long it takes each of them to die. Madara will be able to TP away, so at least that's something.
Yeah, it's the same thing they did at top lane. Like, Finem are not in position to get vision up. So what that means, they just have to take wild risks. They hope that the whole team isn't standing there waiting ready. Like, if you had told Advenom before that initiation, hey, by the way, Fantastic Five's all standing there, it's not just the Void. There's no way they go in the way they did. They committed very deep. Lion used Blink and Force Staff. They charged straight into them, and they're just hoping, like, hey, maybe this person's alone, we'll get a pick off. That would be massive. Unfortunately, he wasn't.
Additionally, Death Prophet has the Octarine. Fantastic Five becoming less and less cooldown based, right? All of these big, huge items are really helping them out. Doom, I don't think Havost is going to go Refresher, but he certainly could. And it's scary if you're Advenom.
Well, Havost has tried to build himself in a non-cooldown based way all along with the S and Y and the ACs. He's the most combat oriented Doom that you'll see in a long time. And he's hitting pretty hard. He's got the Alpha Wolf creep as well, so he's a right click. I mean, it makes sense to build Doom this way in a game where your other cores are DP and Void. Like, you need that extra damage output.
Earth Spirit working on a Force Staff. He has the Stolen Gem as well. I guess there's not really a better person to put it on. I personally would prefer the gem on the Wyvern, but she's a bit full up. Of course, since she can fly over things. It's not a huge deal. I think they've already done good rotations checking for these wards. If you're Faceless Void here, obviously he has the BKB, he doesn't want to get hexed up again. Next items, do you start building for damage or more utility?
I'm not too sure. I could see him going Refresh Orb. I think that would be a reasonable way to do things. It's pretty expensive to get there. I don't think the team doesn't really need him to buy damage, so I don't think that should be necessary. Between all the big ultis that they have, they've definitely got enough damage.
And we haven't talked about this, but OD, 5th on the net worth chart, it feels like Thug hasn't gotten a new item in ages. Probably actually 10 minutes since we've seen something new on Thug.
Yeah, I mean, that's just true. And it's more just impressive that Madara has been on top of the net worth for such a long time, even with the game going the way that it is going. Like, I sort of expect them all to be falling behind, and some other draw ranges just stays up there.
Yeah, he's got that full Scotty finished and the butterfly. They are not gonna... I don't believe they have an idea that maybe next time is here. Oh my goodness. I don't know if he saw him going over his head. I was trying to toggle vision. Okay, obviously he didn't, otherwise he would have killed him.
Yeah. No one saw anyone somehow.
No, but Havost, he's gonna be out there. He's kind of alone. He may just get brought down. What? The rest of his team is so far away, and Havost just doing Havost things. RNM, they got your number. You're not getting this TP out. He is gonna try to juke. Winter's Curse onto Spartan will not be enough, or kind of will, because teammates walk into it. Madara there, I don't believe, needed to actually walk up, but, you know, these things happen.
It's still Winter's Curse usage, even though they kill the Chen, but like we've seen, they can kill the OD, they can kill the draw. So it's not the best Winter's Curse, and I think that Adfinem wants to force the Doom buyback now. He does have buyback, and actually his team is incredible catch. So the unfortunate situation here is that Adfinem need to put pressure to force the Doom to buyback, and in any world in which they do force his buyback, the chances are they're not getting out alive. They're gonna get caught.
Yeah, Fantastic Five will murder their faces. But of course, it's still a good play. I'm not sure what this end game looks like.
Oh, Roche is up. They want Roche. They're gonna try and get there quickly. If they can get to Roche on time, this will be like the most perfect thing for Adfinem, because they really, as I was just describing, the dilemma in trying to force the buyback just doesn't work for them either way. But getting Roche is absolutely enormous, and there's a DD that spawns right as they get there.
Yeah, I think that means Drow actually like 30 shots Roche with that DD. It's pretty ridiculous.
I can't believe a DD spawned. I mean, by the looks of it, they were gonna get Roche anyway. It just kind of like makes it more humorous.
Yes, there is no chance for Fantastic Five to respond. For Adphenum, yes, they have the Aegis. I still think their win conditions are very tough. How can they execute the next fight? Do you just, again, wait for Havos to be Havos, to be out of position? The charge? Cancelled.
Yep, it seems like that's a reliable strategy so far this game, and I don't want to be too critical because Havost is probably the sort of the main contributing factor to his team getting far ahead to start with in this game. But both of the two situations that have gone horribly wrong for Fantastic Five have been like, squarely, completely his fault this game.
I mean, it's also a classic case, right, of if Havos' team backed him up in various situations. The blink into the trees, there's not much we can say about that. But you can also say, was it maybe a miscommunication for the Faceless Void Ghostic to be on the bottom lane, as opposed to where Havost was on the mid lane? It could be, you know, we always view it as the person who dies, it's their fault, but sometimes it's also the team not backing them up. Madara, though, is very firmly out of position. I don't know quite what Madara thought he was doing here. Going to get Chronosphered up. This is the cheese carrier, so Madara can die. There's going to be a nice little cheese eating there. BKB popped as well, but you can still get doomed. Instead, the doom comes out on Skylark, and finally the rest of Adphenem is here. Hand of God comes out. Madara is... Was he just sent home? No, he's in his astral imprisonment. Sanity's Eclipse, not exactly whelming at all. Y'all getting very low here, though. They picked off the Drow. Thug's going to go down next. He will respawn, but the rest of his team has to escape, and an easy team fight won for Fantastic Five. Although they lose ranged racks for that on Fantastic Five, and if they're not careful, they may end up losing this bottom one. Yeah, it's gone. It's done.
Yeah, and that's the thing about having the melee axes down and staying away from that side of the map for so long. It's, I mean, I don't want to give Adphenum too much credit and say the reason they went into the fight is because they knew their lanes were pushing in, because probably not. It feels a bit like Madara had a boast moment there where he just like, felt really confident and went into a fight all on his own. I don't know. But it does end up being like not the worst thing in the world for them because those ranged axes get finished off.
So for Adphenum, again, just more space created. RNM, what are you... I know it's nighttime, but you're awfully close. He's actually gonna try to wave cut some up in the top lane, trying to make sure that there can't be any sort of push. There is still 20 seconds or so that they have a window on Fantastic Five to force the buyback for OD.
Nice.
It's not happening. Yeah, it's... RNM, yeah, he's... I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're a Wyvern and your team goes full YOLO.
This Lion's got incredibly far, by the way. You see him just pushing out waves, ulting creeps because he has the Ag Scepter. He can just clear a whole wave whenever he wants. And I mentioned earlier that his Blink Dagger timing was quite good, but the game became very difficult for his team, and his farm just kept going. Like it's mostly, I want to say, that he's just got very, very few deaths in a game, which has been very dangerous for his team. So
the Lion has 330 GPM. The Wyvern does as well. That's actually pretty impressive for supports this late in the game. Yep. Do you think the Aghanim Scepter is valid, though, as opposed to another utility item, maybe another Lotus Orb, a Yule's or something else? Just, Ag's kind of not something we ever get to see on Lions.
No, I think it's good. I think it is good. It's I mean, you're not buying it so that you can push the waves like he's doing, but it gives you, like, ridiculously short cooldown, 20 seconds. And, I mean, I almost think that's primary, and then secondary is that occasionally in a fight it's going to hit more than one hero. And... yeah, when you hit more than one hero, 1,000 damage nuke is pretty... I think it's better than if you invested into another Lotus Orb or something like that.
Definitely, at least, making this game a lot of fun for us to watch. I don't think I've ever had a competitive Lion Ags game that I've gotten to cast.
I think I've seen one or two. I've never seen one of those, you know, the dream is a Darkseer and Lion or something like that, and just kill everyone with one finger, get a rampage. I don't think I've ever seen that, but I've seen the occasional pickup, and the way the fights are happening, it's not impossible to imagine the ulti hitting more than one hero in a fight, and it pays for itself when that happens.
Now, Thug, he is filthily rich. We were discussing how it's been a while since he's gotten an item, despite dying a couple times. Oh no, Madara, don't be caught out of position, but he is. There's the Doom. They still need to do a lot of damage to him, and as you said, he is sent home. Sespartan will be punished for this. Evost is raging and angry, and Sespartan will be the one to fall. But Madara living there. Doom also expended. Now on cooldown, we're gonna have a very nice escape there by the Lion as well. He may even finger the creeps up in top lane before he comes back.
That's, you know what, that's actually totally fine for Adfinem. They'll quite happily give up their Chen each time Doom and Void use their ulti. If that's the trade, one Doom, one Chronosphere, Chen dies. I think they would agree in advance that like that's good. We'll accept that deal.
Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do. Again, this game being drawn way out. I was I would not have expected it to last this long, especially with the lineups teams are running, but for Wyvern, I have to imagine you're saving for buyback now on the side of Fantastic Five since you are 2 racks down, but also maybe a refresher here. I feel like that's very powerful for the Wyvern.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every time he casts an ulti, it makes a kill on its own. So I think that 2 ultis means probably 2 kills. So yeah, it's Drow Ranger. This is like she stands anywhere near any of her allies, she will solo kill them if Wyvern ultis them.
Yeah, she hits casually when she actually has some, like, the Bladzora around her. I think she hits for 400. Oh, she hits for 400 without the Bladzora. My maths is bad.
And remember, the Wyvern ulti even gives them more attack speed, so
Yeah.
it's just like we've seen her solo kill the OD, so we kind of just assume she can solo kill anyone. By the way, OD Thug can almost finish his hex. In fact, if he doesn't want to save buyback, he can finish it right now, and that could be a game changer. That's the only item I was gonna say. Maybe if Lion could have saved all the way up to a hex, like have another hex that could help, but I don't really like it that much on the Lion, who's already your one hexing hero that they need to be worried about. It's actually better to have multiple sources of hex on multiple heroes.
Yeah, in case the lion himself gets doomed or hexed or something. So, CC'd. That's the word I'm looking for. We are at kind of the first lull in action. I mean, this game has been action-packed. So, while the teams wait, are we waiting on Roche? Obviously, Fantastic Five, they've had a couple of repelled pushes, maybe not feeling as confident as they once were. I was wrong. They are confident. Exorcism dropped.
Confident or frustrated? It's hard to tell at this point. Like, I think they might just be a bit annoyed that they're still the ones Drax is behind in a game which they should have easily won a long time ago.
Okay, Biz taking quite a bit of damage. Cold Embrace, of course, going to save him from everything. Drow just making sure she keeps giving him that Scotty. And Lion Stun just going to delay the push. Actually, tower down at 47 health. Someone just needs to tap this thing. The damage everyone has. Nobody's going to touch that tower, though. And Adfinem, they're leading the charge. Madara, he is so fast right now.
Yeah, with that flutter move speed. Really quick. Super farmed on the Drow Ranger with the Satanic as well. Like, you kind of have to commit some of those big ultis to the Drow, and if you don't catch the Chen just sends it back. That's what we've seen a few times already this game. So it's an awkward situation for Fantastic Five where I think they kind of know that if they get into an open fight somewhere out of the map 5v5, they probably win it. But Adfinem are avoiding giving them that opportunity, and Adfinem themselves also know that it's difficult for them to force the issue. It looks like they're considering grouping up to push here with the Exorcism down. I'm not totally sure if that's enough, and Havost is... he's Border Maelstrom. He's...
No, it's fine. Hey, there's lots of different damage instances coming out from Adfinem. Think of the Chen creeps hitting you. I was just looking at Chen, wondering how Spartan's going. You know, it's 50 minutes in, and poor guy, he's just maybe gonna have Guardian Greaves finished when the game ends. This happens sometimes, right? Huh?
You were asking earlier if Void's gonna go damage, and I was thinking like the damage item Void gets is Maelstrom, but it just doesn't seem like any points going back for that yet. But they still want the Maelstrom just because they want someone who's better at pushing out waves, I think. The trouble that Fantastic Five keep dealing with is that they're on this timer. Every time they go push down the mid lane, they're on a timer until until their bot lane gets pushed in, and that's when they end up going back. It's not just about the exorcism, it's not just about their own spells. Like, it's frustrating to them that it takes them so long to push out the bot lane before they can go and push in the mid lane.
Now, okay, Rock being thrown out onto Spartan. I am unsure whether he can get away. He's going. Oh my goodness. Okay, Crypt Storm comes out. I thought he was gonna get the TP for a second there, but of course not against the Octarine. And Havost actually getting Maelstrom procs. I like it.
That's actually an extremely big catch, and they're gonna smoke down towards Madara now.
How
which
do
is
you...
an interesting move because I'd expect him to just TP out.
Yeah, I think they were actually hoping to smoke the Roshan, but I guess they'll go for Madara if they can. Chronos V, just do it! Misses. Ghost Stick just right on the edge there, and they can't catch maybe next time either. They know exactly where he is. They get the courier at least, but it's not great.
Okay, so the Chen kill actually gets nothing. I actually thought if they'd just gone straight mid, they could maybe force the Chen to buy back. I guess forcing a Chen to buy back is not really that big a deal either. So hoping that they get something bigger from it.
How do
Yeah,
you... Oh, I was gonna say, if you're the Drow, I would be screaming at my supports rather loudly. I'm like, this Lotus Orb is great, Spirit Breaker, but I also want a Lincoln Sphere. Maybe on the Lion, since he can flash form now. Because, yeah, sure, returning the Doom or returning the Winter's Curse is great, but at some point you just want your Drow not to be caught. And speaking of getting caught, Skylark, Lotus Orbs himself, still probably gonna fall here, and he will go down.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like those Earth Spirit deaths. It's really not a consequential death at all in the bigger scheme of things. What is consequential is that this OD has finished a Hex. Drow's got Demon Edge now. Rosh is always going to get really quickly dealt with by them if it does spawn for them, and actually just pinging saying, you wait there and check, and well, if the silence gets hit, this Wyvern could just go, okay, no.
They have to know both sides. It was a max Roshan respawn time, and both sides know it now has to be up. Diet Courier will get murdered as well, because that's the name of the game. There's gonna be the silence out onto Ghostic, pops that BKB, there it is, the Chronosphere lands on 2 and on the edges. Gonna work on maybe next time. Yule's up to try and make sure Drow can't do anything fancy. Skylark gonna try for the charge in Madara. He will return the Doom. Havos just dooms the Lotus Orb target. He doesn't care though. As you said, nobody can kill him. They'll pick off Madara. Wyvern is out of the fight though. Thug pops that BKB, gonna start smacking around people, and maybe Havos wishing he had spells right now. Sanity's Eclipse will take out Ghostic, and all are healed, saving Thug for now, but they're getting close, and the Exorcism will rip right through him. Yol goes down. We have Drow back up in this fight, while Havos taking a lot of damage here. He will fall. There is going to still be Exorcism going out onto Madara. Drow, you cannot die here again. That'll be a dieback, but will he actually go down? Winter's Curse! They're making sure that they kill off one of them. Skylark getting very low. They've lost themselves R&M though, and now Biz, he's the one who's going to be going down here. Tavost has brought back the entirety of Fantastic Five are trying to come, backing up their Death Prophet, and she takes so long to go down because of that Spirit Suck. And now Yol, he's taking a lot of damage, but he doesn't finish the job. The Glimmer Cape saving his life. Madara Glimmer Caped up as well, but they know where they are. Maybe next time, trying to be the bait, trying to sacrifice his life. If they don't catch Madara here, no, they don't. They do. They catch him on the edge of the Yules. There was so little time left on that TP, and Madara will die back. And the Chronosphere to finish off maybe next time. Fantastic Five, they had to use a lot, but they win that team fight. They have 4 buybacks on cooldown, only Death Prophet with hers remaining, while 3 are still up on Ad Finem, but this may just be what they needed to seal out this game.
Yeah, because the Drow is the key hero. The Drow is the hero that can't buy back, and you gotta expect... Yeah, if somehow if Ad Finem survive with their axes intact, then they're in an awesome position. But they should probably be losing axes, yeah.
Okay, that's just casual fingering everyone coming out from the Lion. You know, he's gonna try to stun both. He's only gonna get one, and the Exorcism, it is back up. And you know Biz is dropping this bad boy. He knows they need to get this Rax. Maybe next time, trying to hex up Havos. Buying some time here, but he is the only one. Finally, they have up. Oh no, maybe next time has been jumped on. Silenced up. He did already buy back. And now Thug, he's also... BKB doesn't save you from physical damage. Biz backing out, showing some restraint. They've gotten 1 Rax already. They're going to work on the middle one, realizing they need to even up the odds, trying to get the melees here, ignoring the range. There's going to be a Chronosphere deep onto Saspartan. They don't want any more of these Chen shenanigans. Astral Imprisonment going to save his life for now, but again, the Exorcism, it is still burning on everyone. Havost even diving deeper. Charge coming out, going to land on Havost. Exorcism is done here, but Shivas comes out. Ghostic standing at the ready. Doesn't have Chronosphere for 44, but he has a BKB. Doom onto Thug. He can't do any damage here, and still the Drow has not respawned. There is nothing they can do here on Ad Finem. They have to wait out the Doom. So Spartan coming in, but no Chen creeps. Best he can do is get some Megas or something and dominate them. Ghostic running forwards again, running back. They are poking away at this. They have already got 1 full lane of Rax melee in mid. Thug gonna be hexed up. Yol going in. They are just smacking away at this poor OD. She does have a buyback though, so if OD needs to, but it's looking like at the very least all the melee racks down and they should be able to get Megas. I think Fantastic Five have the time. Havos though taking a lot of damage, pops his BKB and Glimmer caped up to try and save his life. We'll see if oh, the Winter's Curse onto Thug. They're just gonna back on out. Nothing too much they can do to him in that, but will they be able to kill him afterwards? The roll away though from Yol. Immediate BKB coming out of Thug. They do have the Drow back, so Yol will fall. Thug looking for more. This Glimmer Cape gonna wear out. Death Prophet in a lot of trouble here. She does have buyback though, so even if she goes down, and she may just Yules herself. Oh, okay, Chronosphere on the sidelines. Exorcism's back up in 4. Again, Ad Finem, they cannot win these team fights. And Biz ready to go back in. Havost is there. He doesn't have Doom, but he doesn't care. He's Havost, and I think, unfortunately, even with the buybacks coming out of Ad Finem, this may just be GG if Madara goes down. Finger onto her boast. He's also about to be charged up. Oh, Sanity's Eclipse just blows him up and he doesn't have buyback either. Ghostic with that BKB. He's slightly out of position. He is going to get caught out here. He's trying to run it off. Stun manages to hit onto Biz. She has to be careful here. She does have Yules, but you can't use that when you're hexed up. And now Biz taking a lot of damage. She needs to get off the Yules. Does manage to, but she didn't get off a Spirit Siphon first, so she wasn't returning. Finger will bring her down. And without buyback, she is dead for 100 seconds here. Ghostic taking a lot of damage. Is he really going to time walk this away? It does not look like it. One more, the Astral Imprisonment will get him, but at the same time, tier 4s are going down. Megas have been attained by the lineup of Fantastic Five. And finally, Scant, analyze all of that business.
I mean, with all these kills, if the Drow was alive, they could definitely go and try and push the throne, and they might even succeed. But the Drow's the one hero that they absolutely need to be alive in order to do that, and they're gonna chase after Armin at the bot lane now. He's just trying to waste some time.
I mean, he has a blink. Yeah, he can just do whatever he wants here.
It's honestly, I mean, it's quite remarkable that Finem stayed in this game for so long in the first place, that they are even technically still in the game. That fight that happens at the, outside the rush pit where everyone's buying back left, right, and center. I just feel like what we see then again is a fight that's out in the open where Fantastic Five get to use all their LCs numerous times. They just have too many. But sure, we've got like a few items which are nice control factor, like the Lotus Orb. We've got Lion who's picked up the 4-staff and the Glimmer Cape, but the heroes, the big ultis, the spells on the side of Fantastic Five have been better for winning you fights for the entire game. It's been like that, and it's been an uphill battle for Finem all game. They stayed in the game owing to some mistakes from the other side, and there is some chance. Their Drow's respawned. They're still in the game. There is some chance that they could still win this game, even against Mega Creeps, if they get the right pickoffs in the right time.
Additionally, this is just game 2. Even if Finem lose out this one, it's a best of 3. Sure, it's not great for morale, but actually considering... Oh, okay, R&M, what are you doing there? Hello, Winter's Curse. Just gonna casually drop that to make sure he gets on out. I am pretty sure that was not the play or place to be.
Yeah, it wasn't his plan. Wasn't what he was expecting to happen. And it looks like Finem are going for one last all-in movement.
Well,
like
without the Winter's Curse up, their odds are better than ever before.
Yeah, and only DP has buyback, and if she uses Exorcism, it doesn't matter that much, although she's got Refresher Orbs, so never mind. She's got Refresher and Hex and Shivas.
Okay, we've got the Hex out onto R&M. He's already used his ult though, and there it is. Chronosphere manages to hit on Madara again. Who is going to save the Drow this time? Already Madara getting very low, hexed up now as well. Full stuffed over the side. Hand of God comes out. Finger manages to land on a couple targets, but Madara is still getting very low. Sanity's Eclipse brings everybody else down to Madara's health. They have to doom Madara as well, but finally the Drow is brought down on the deck for 100 seconds. GG's are called, and Fantastic Five have brought us to a game 3, and what a damn good one.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. I mean, they knew there was about a minute left on the buybacks of all the Fantastic Five heroes. If they somehow managed to win the fights, like in no time at all, they can just burst down the throne. That's their best chance to win the game at that stage. It's unfortunate. Finem, I think, did a really good job after going quite far behind in the early stages of the game. I think with the lineup that they have, it's really remarkable that they stayed in the game for so long. I think Havost definitely helped them out a few times, but again, Havost helped this team out a lot too. So Havost kind of playing both teams, eventually deciding my team should actually be the one that wins, and that is what happens.
Yeah. So, there's probably actually going to be a sizable break, because I imagine the players need to go to the bathroom and something after that game. We'll get you into the third game as soon as possible, folks. Once again, I'm Llama Down Under. I've been so graciously joined by Scant. Thank you so much, and hopefully the next game is just as fantastic as this one. We'll see you all soon. Peace out, folks.